Hey everybody, it's Allie Edwards and welcome to story number 14 in my December daily project for 2023. Yesterday for story 13, I always like to kind of do just a quick review. I did the big fold open for my collage ornaments. I love how that turned out. That made me very, very happy. And today the story that I want to tell is something that I often include in my album each year, which is something from my parents. And so this year what I'm doing, I love including other voices. I love documenting emails. I've done emails in the past. I've done text messages. They often send photos. So this year I've been collecting a few of the images that they've sent during December, and I'm going to fill the back of this page here with a full page photo, and that one is a double rainbow. So I'm going to cut this down to fit. And then a few of the other photos that they have sent, I sized to about, I think it's like 1.5 by 3. And I'm going to cut these out and adhere them onto this page. Maybe do a little something on there. I can see that I'm going to go reprint this one again. I can see the lines. My print heads need to be cleaned on that printer. So I'll do that in a minute here. Real crafting problems, you guys know. But I love the idea of using that as a base, adding these guys on here. And then I was looking at this die cut page, and I was also looking at, this is actually a 3x8 card that was that is in our present story kit. You could also use 3x8 cards that came with the 3x8 transparency set. That would be another option here. But I'm thinking about doing a page, like punching holes here, adding this in, having this be, stitched along the edge potentially to then be able to say, okay, this, write a little bit about mushroom hunting, write a little bit about chopping his wood, and then write a little bit about them visiting the lights, in some form. That's kind of what I'm looking at doing. So you could obviously do this same sort of thing with any of those 3x8 cards. I was going to pull, you've got like the Dear December, some of them, transparencies. If you have those, that would be a fun way to do it too. Let's see if there were any specific ones. Any of these would work. I just like the ones that have, that one's cute too. So is this one. I feel like I just love those stars. Any of those would work great. Merry Memories, something like that. I want to use this one because I like the graphic part of it. But this is also cute. I wonder if I kind of like the idea of like putting this on top and then having this open up. Maybe I've got something else I can put on the back here. And then I could put the number 14 on there. I'm getting some ideas here. I kind of like that. I kind of like that concept. Okay, I'm going to reprint. I'm going to go clean my print heads and do that first so that I can reprint that. We'll cut these guys out. I'm going to adhere them onto the photo with some foam adhesive probably, and let's see where we go from here. Okay, that is better. So let's trim that out. I'm actually just going to take this out of here for now. Let's think about the different pieces that we have. We'll put that guy in there. All right, so this is going to get adhered on the back. Let's trim. That's not the one the one we don't want to use. Okay, so things you could do, you in Photoshop, you could add text over the rainbow. I kind of thought about doing that, but I think that I'm going to maybe handwrite something on there. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. You guys know how I like to change my mind at the last minute. So we'll just get this guy all set up, and I'm pretty sure this ended up being 8.25. Yep. Okay, I left it along the edge because I know that that's going to get trimmed off, but I think before I do that, let's cut these guys out. So these are my 3 little photos. I could leave a little white border on them. I think I'll do that. It'll just be a little skinny one. We'll see how that looks. So these are just photos that my parents have sent, you know, recently of things that they're doing down at their house during the holiday season, which always involves lots of light adventures, seems like. They love going to look at the lights, which is just so fun. Okay. So I like the idea. This is kind of what I'm thinking here, right? Is that I'm using the photo as my foundation, that background photo as my foundation, and then I'm building on top of it with these other pictures. I think this is cute. I love using photos, right? I mean, this could go on pattern paper, obviously, but if you've got a photo that can act as a base, that's even better. Yeah, see, they can just fit right in here. Okay, so maybe I'll find a little something that could go in that space there. Maybe I'll bring them down a little bit more. Some kind of a half circle something that could go in that space. Okay, these are kind of the things that I'm going to think about. I want to look through the embellishments and see what other things I could find to do that. And then this, again, pretty sure that I'm going to take this over on my sewing machine and just stitch down the edge there, probably a zigzag, because I love that as, you know, just a different way to play with these die cut word pieces. And then I can handwrite, you know, something about mushrooms, something about going to see the lights, and then something about the wood pile there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run adhesive down the side of this, and then I'm gonna run it through the sewing machine, probably just with the red thread that is on there right now. I'm gonna have it have a little bit of a margin on there so the stitching can catch both of those, and then tomorrow there'll be something on the back. I probably won't care about this part. Some of you guys might have seen in the past when I have something like this where it's the die cut words, I will emboss on top of there or do something else. I might still do that. We'll see. That will be a tomorrow activity, but I'm going to run that through the sewing machine. Okay, cute. All right, so we're going to need some holes in there, and that's where I was talking about. Maybe I would do this. So let's use this to just punch the holes anyway. All right, so as I was looking at what I might want to add to the outside, I had a circle that I had stamped using the circle stamp set earlier this year, and I embossed it with gold embossing powder, and so that's how and it was on vellum, so I've got that circle there that was just in my stash of little samples that I had done. So I'm going to use that on here. I'm adding the number 14 for story 14 on top. I did put another circle underneath it, so that's why it has the white underneath there, and I'm going to turn this one into a tag in a few minutes. But on the inside of the star paper there, I did decide to look through my old photos with my parents, some of my old Christmas photos, and found this one of my dad and I from 1980. I might have used a similar photo in my Stories of Christmas Past album if you've seen that before, but I love any opportunity to combine photos of today with yesterday, right? We did that, or I did that earlier in the album with the picture of Simon as he is today, plus a picture of him when he was little. So this is another fun opportunity to do that. So I just measured out the size of the back of that card, of the 3x8 card, and I'm going to adhere this along the back there. Mainly I just needed something to fill in that space, but when we need to fill in a space, we have an opportunity, right? Filling in a space presents us with an opportunity. We can have more words. We can have more of a crafty something. We could stamp a bunch of things. We could put embellishments on there, or we could do something like adding a photo. And adding a photo is one of my go-tos. I think I love, like I said earlier, being able to use photos as a big piece of the design of the different projects that I'm putting together. So got that on there, just trimming off the little edges and the pieces where it wasn't exactly perfect. I'm going to use my 6-hole punch again to repeat or to create the holes in that spot there. And now I have that. I'm going to also put one of the little gold foil tabs along the edge, and that's going to happen here in a minute. Sometimes what I love to do with this project specifically, because I often have a bunch of the Christmas stuff out on my desk, is just picking up the next thing that is there on my table. So like in this case, that little bit of ribbon, it was already just sitting on my table, and I was like, oh, that one will work just right for this. I am using an eyelet with the vellum circle on top of a white circle there, and then I'm going to run the little bit of red and white twine through there, which is nice, just bringing in a little bit of the red again, similar to the stitching that I did between the die cut page and the 1, 2, 3 journaling page. I really also liked, after doing a lot of things with a lot of color, especially yesterday, right, it was like tons of red and green and white and all the colors of the ornaments. It was fun to have a day like today where almost every embellishment that I'm using is white and gold. Just something to think about as you are going through your own album, and, you know, remind yourself that you don't have to do it the same way throughout the entire album. It can be really fun to have a mixture of colors, and it can also be really fun to have something that is tighter in terms of the color choices. So as you can see right here, I'm using red line tape. That is I put that on the back of my flip up from yesterday, or from story number 13. I'm going to adhere my photo right down on top of there, and then I can begin the actual process of building with the 3 smaller photos on top. But first I needed to trim off along the edge. You can see that I've got a little bit of extra there on the far edge of the photo, but went ahead and did that, took care of that. Considered trimming off along the top, but there wasn't enough extra on there. It was hard to tell what was the difference between the fold over part from yesterday and the actual photo itself being too tall. So I decided to go with the 3 photos there, the fa la la, and then I'm using some quotation marks that are from my stash. They're from a past chipboard set. I am using foam adhesive to adhere the photos. I'm going to put it on the fa la la, and I also put it on the back of the 14 piece of vellum in the circle tag there. Then I put a bunch of different sized ones, small and the bigger ones, on the fa la la, and that's going to get added on top. So in just a second here, I'll start the process of pulling all of that off. I often, when I'm using these foam adhesives, I like the fact that you don't have to pull the adhesive off right away, so you can move things around and get it in the right place before you actually adhere things. So I pulled off the backs of the ones on the circle, and then the next step is just to pull them off of the photos and add them on there. I really liked that a couple of these photos showed my dad, you know, engaged in very specific activities that he likes to do, like going mushroom hunting and also just the firewood. My parents love having a fire, often in the morning and the evening, and that's a little bit of what I added into the journaling there that I will be doing in just a second on the video. But again, like I said, it's fun to use your photos as a foundation, right? Use them as a base and build a story on top of them. This one I considered doing the photos digitally and just adding the photos on there, but I liked having more dimension on the page and being able to use the foam adhesive to have a little bit more texture overall. All right, so then looking on to the actual journaling, this one again is from the Present Story Kit. This is another example of this was just on my desk and it's just waiting for me to use it. So I decided to use the brush pen again to kind of do, you know, a subhead of each one of the photos over there. I could also do a 1, 2, and a 3 on those photos. I might actually do that add some of those little gold foil numbers. I've already taken the photograph, so you won't see it in the actual blog post or anything, but I think I will do that so that it has even more clarity of that those photos right there go with the numbers. After I got the little subheads done, then I pulled out my Slick Writer, and I'm just doing some really basic things. I remember that my mom, when she sent me the message about the mushroom hunting, she said that my dad had gone with Paulo and that the weather had been really warm, and so they had some success mushroom hunting. I think what he's hunting for, the ones that they're looking for specifically right now, are called matsutakes. I think that's the one. And then the middle photo is my parents at a light festival place that they visit multiple times during the holidays, and hopefully we'll get a chance to go down there and see them and see that as well. That's where Anna has that colorful Christmas memory. So that would be fun to have a picture of her down there this year too. And then firewood. So there's something that I love also. So having firewood or chopping the firewood, there's just a lot of things that go into that. And I love that this is a piece of what their life is like in this season of life for them. And I think for me, having the photo that echoes back to my childhood, and my dad in his younger season, they're paired with what they look like today and what's happening for them today. I love the opportunity to tell stories that include, yesterday and today kinds of stories. So there I'm adding the 1980. That was when that particular photo was taken, during Christmas 1980. And always want to get the dates on there for that. I really love how this one came together. It was kind of unexpected. I didn't know exactly how it was going to end up, but I really, really liked having just the focus on the white and the gold, and always love the opportunity to tell some stories related to my parents as well. All right, guys, let me know if you have questions. Otherwise, I'll see you back here tomorrow.